gentlemen, welcome to a Texas-sized edition of ARG Presents. I'm your good buddy, your good pal, Amigo Aaron, joined by a man we simply call the little cowpoke. I give you the Brent.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, my God. There's the cowpoke voice. So, last week, if you joined us, we spun the wheel, and we didn't make the deal, did
No.
we? You made the deal. You in the chat, because you selected...
You're to blame.
Choice, bam. It's the TI-99 4A. The old 4A, Brent. We haven't crossed paths with the 4A for a long time.
It has been a while.
We haven't made a 4A into the Texas Instruments for quite a while.
Well, you're on drugs, aren't you?
Well, a little bit, yeah. So I thought before we get back into the game here, we would refresh ourselves with what the TI was. Now, we're going to go back and catch our original episode. We go to like the specs of the TI. But I want to talk about what's transpired since the last time we did a show on the TI.
Well, something we should probably mention, if you are looking for more of a deep dive into the system, you can check out ARG Presents Volume 46.
Oh, man.
When we take our original look at this.
Was it that far back? 46?
46.
What number are we on now?
A lot more than that.
Holy
3 years ago.
Yeah.
You also get to see us wear Texas hats.
Yeah, that was cool. I should have worn my hat again this time.
But this week, we're going to talk a little bit more about the games. Aaron wants to go over that. Yeah. And then I want to go over something that's going to make everyone's life playing and experiencing the TI-99 a little bit easier.
Right on. So, I'll be honest with you. As a kid, one of my good friends had a TI. In fact, they had about 10. I told that story in the last show.
Yeah.
His mom went out and bought about 1 million TIs, and they were on super duper, like, get these out of here closeout. She had a closet full of them. And the TI-99 4A, the beautiful, like, chromed up version, real nice looking machine. But, I didn't have much time for the TI-99. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was sort of a dud. Because
you were wrong.
Well, my buddies all had Ataris, and I had a Coco. And so I thought the TI, I just didn't think much of it. It was a weird system. I just never meshed with it that much. So flash forward to the episode we did, and I thought to myself, hey, this TI's got a couple decent games on it. Because everyone talks about Parsec, like that's the game, But I did a stream of TI sometime earlier in the year, and suddenly I'm playing all these awesome games. Arcade ports, original games.
Yeah.
Stuff like Alpiner, which was a really fun game. But they also had, like, Jungle Hunt. They had stuff like that. They had a lot of good arcade ports. Parker Brothers supported them. And they also, I think we even played MASH on here, which is actually on the screen right now. So I found there were more fun games from the TI than I would have anticipated.
Absolutely.
And so I went back. The problem with the TI up to this point was just there were a lot of games I had trouble running on the Mister and some other stuff because of the way that the TI does its ROMs. The TI ROM setup back in the day was unique to the TI. And so I couldn't just load up a ROM in the Mister and have it work. There were some like steps and certain techniques you had to use to load stuff. It was kind of a pain. But then I think maybe you found that's an easy solution for most people.
Absolutely. There is a Java emulator online that is, astounding to go back and look at some of these amazing games. If you go to js99er.net, that's js99er.net, it will open up a Texas Instrument emulator. And holy cow, is it good.
Yeah.
It has literally all the software you could ever want for it. And something you need to know, to access that, you click the software button and then click more and then type in what you're looking for.
Yeah, it had everything.
It literally had everything I was trying to find. Now, you can sideload ROMs off of it. It has some compilation disc that you could explore that way. That's how I started doing it.
Those were great. They had a ton of games on them.
But this makes the emulation for this system bonehead simple.
Yeah.
Bonehead simple. And it allows you really to get in there and enjoy what the TI-99 has to offer. I played several of these games before landing on what I ended up choosing. And I enjoyed almost every single one of them. It is amazing how many good games are on this system. Now, my only complaint is there are a ton of arcade ports, right?
Yeah.
Now, and that's not...
As was the style of the time.
Yeah, and that's not bad for most people, but they didn't try to expand on the game. They tried to make it like the arcade. And if you know me, if you've seen previous shows, I don't like that. It's different back then. I understand the value of back then, those titles. But in the modern day, in the here and now, if I want to play Bump and Jump, I'm going to go play Bump and Jump. I'm not going to go play it for the TI-99. Now, there is some historical value, and, we're not going to debate all that today.
I will do that, by the way.
Yeah, I know you will. But there's plenty of original games or takes that the TI-99 has on some games that are worth checking out. So, again, I highly recommend js99er.net. Give it a look-see.
We'll link it up under the show there.
And play some of these games, man. The TI-99 does not get enough credit for some good stuff because they did some good stuff.
Yeah, I've got to say, I can say this without any hesitation. I was wrong, real wrong about the TI.
Yeah.
And the machine also has a certain display feel that you don't get on any machine. I don't know what it is. The fonts look different. It's a different beast. I also learned to appreciate its sound expansion, the voice expansion.
Yes.
It's a tight voice expansion. And I think it's one of the better ones I've heard from back in the day.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe the best. It was real. It's got some real good. The audio, the quality is pretty darn good.
Yes, and that is emulatable on that site.
Yeah.
So you get pretty much the best of all the worlds in a web-friendly package.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I will say, when I was playing my game, even if you just leave the room, it would just occasionally make noise, and it scared the crap out of me several times. So there you go. But yeah, I strongly recommend you check out the TI library. I'm going to be going back to it on stream sooner than later.
Oh, we will probably swing back by here Friday for Thanksgiving.
When we did the TI the first time, I don't think I really realized how many good games I had. I mean, is this the show that opened your eye to the TI, or did you know?
I don't think I deep dived into it 3 years ago when we did the first show nearly as much as I did this show. This show, I went through a lot of games and could really learn to appreciate what they were doing with this system way back when.
Yeah, very good, very good. So with all that said, it was our task to choose 2 games from the very formidable library of the TI. And I'm going to let you lead the dance this week.
All right.
And I'll also say, you've been on a tear. What did you bring to the show this time around?
I wanted to do a TI-99 exclusive, and I found one. And we're going to take a look at Moon Miner. Moon Miner.
Moon Mine.
Well, you're right. Well, you are a miner, though, so fine. Moon Mine.
Well, you got to tell them the right name. You're already off the rails.
All right. Before we talk about Moon Mine, I want to talk about the guy behind Moon Mine a little bit. And his name is John Phillips. And this is do not confuse him with the famous British designer by the same name. Because they both do the same gimmick where they hide their initials into sprites in the games they make. But no, this John Phillips is an American. The other guy, obviously British.
I doubt there's a lot of European programming that was done on the TI.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't recall the TI being a big player over in the UK or over in Europe. I could be wrong.
So John Phillips, he's got a fairly, I guess, common story for back in the day. Grew up, wanted to make games, right? Got on it at Texas Instruments, and what do? They said, no, you don't make games. You go be a software engineer over there. And the dude was smart, right? He made his programs. He did what he was supposed to do. And his wife was friends with someone that was in the California branch. I believe it was California. And they were like, hey, my husband really wants to make games. Or I think he was his girlfriend at the time. Really wants to make games. is there any way you can get him an interview or something? So they were like, yeah. Called him up, talked to him a little bit, saw that he had already been a valuable asset with the company, but he'd only been at Texas Instrument for a year, right? So he's like, all right, I'll just drive out to Sacramento for this interview. They're like, what? No, you can't just drive to Sacramento. We'll get you a plane ticket. We'll fly you there. Because the dude just didn't know, right? Because that's a heck of a drive for anyone who doesn't know. Flew over, did the interview, and got the position. And they said, listen, your first task, we've already got...
Yeah,
we already have the rough layout for a game. I mean, really rough, like just storyboard type things. We want you to program this game, and that game was Moon Mine.
Really?
And he was like, okay, I'll do it. And the Texas Instrument had a unique pricing structure for how they gave bonuses for software back in the day. And they said, listen, your software will either be a Type A or a Type B. Type A is you finished your game, we brought it to market, here's a $250 check, clappy, clappy, now you're done, right?
$250
$250. Now, I mean, he got his salary and all the other stuff too, but this was...
Yeah, but that's chintzy.
Game B, Type B, is... congratulations, you completed the project, clappy clappy. You will now receive royalty on the game for 4 years. Right. A much better deal. Potentially a much better deal.
Yeah.
Well, Moon Mine returned as a Type A, right? And
that's a good one.
No, that's
a bad
the $250 out the door.
Oh my God.
And
that's horrible.
And it was... He was bummed about it.
Yeah.
Because everything he had done at this point back in the Texas offices were Type A things. His next game that he produced was actually a Type B game, and then they shut then the company shut down a year and a half later, so he only got a year and a half worth of royalties.
Oh man.
But he's an interesting fellow. He's still out there today. I think he's retired. I couldn't see any software that he had done recently.
Right.
But he is accredited for a handful of games. D-Station, Face Chase, Jawbreaker 2, Star Trap, and Strike 3. These are all that I'm aware of.
I've heard of Jawbreaker 1, but I didn't know there was a sequel to it.
Apparently there is.
I can't imagine the royalty payouts were going to be big on any of those. This is probably the big one he would have had.
And now he's grown up. He's got a family. He's got 3 kids. And apparently he loves music. He's a big music guy. I could not find if he played music. I looked. I was really hoping he did. But I know that he enjoys music a lot because it's on his YouTube channel. So now let's talk a little bit about Moon Mine. What a fun, unique game. In this game, you are in search of resources in this Moon Mine that have been stolen by aliens. So you get into your tracked vehicle and you roll down this continuous, never-ending mine shaft, fighting aliens. And whenever the opportunity arises, you stop your craft, get out of the vehicle, run, collect the ore or the gems that you find or the coolant for your vehicle, and then run back to the ship and get back in. The mining segment of it, when you're in your vehicle and you're rolling down, you have turrets at the top and bottom of the screen that shoot vertically, and you have turrets on the left and right hand side of the screen that shoot horizontally. Here's the catch though. Your vertical shooting turrets shoot the full length of the screen, so you can cover off all of it. Your horizontal shooting turrets only cover the length of your tracks, your vehicle tracks. So it's a very short laser. And the aliens come at you from a 3D perspective bouncing towards you off all the edges of the screen, and until they eventually will hit your vehicle if you don't shoot them in time. Like I said, when you come across a bit of material on the ground, or if there was a water coolant to pick up to help maintain your vehicle, you stop and you're a man at this point in front of your vehicle, running around. You have to run out and gather the goods. The aliens are still attacking, so you have to use your own personal firearm to shoot at the aliens that are coming, and then run back to your ship or your mining vehicle. Aaron, first off, so I have to ask you, did you think this perspective, because it's like you're looking down into the middle of the screen, and the cave is almost shot from a first person perspective. Did you find this disorienting at all?
No, not a bit. I thought it was the perspective was spot on. I mean, it's like you're going down a long corridor, or depending on. I would assume that's what it was, because the guy gets out.
Yes, that is what it is.
If you didn't have the getting out aspect, I suppose you could have said you were going down. But I like the idea that you're going. Listen, we have a lot of mines here in West Virginia, right? I've been in them, including some that have tracked vehicles. And, I mean, they're not perfectly rectangular like this mine is, but
this is really well cut.
If you were going down a well-cut mine into a mine, of course, people hear mine shaft. I think a lot of people that aren't in the know think it's just like a pit.
Yeah, down.
It's
not.
No. It's a steady. It's straight. Yeah. For the most part.
Straight as an arrow.
And occasionally you might have go to an elevator or something, move up.
Correct.
Sometimes they'll slant, but the problem is you've got to be careful because the water runoff. I know I'm getting too deep into the thought on this, but yes. No, I had no problem with the aspect of looking or traveling down this shaft.
Now, I looked at some reviews on this, and a few people had problems with your far off perspective is just a black square.
Yeah.
And some people I saw were in the review saying, well, you can't see the enemy when they're all the way. But I think that's part of the game.
Clearly, these people haven't been in the mines. It's dark down there.
Yeah.
When crap comes flying out of them, you're not going to see it. That's one of the things I liked about the game is that you've got the different colored aliens that pop out. Some of them are right up against the blackness of the shaft, and you can't see them, but that's part of it. You can see the movement, and so it feeds into that feeling of, oh crap, what, I can't see it, where's it at? It gives you a little bit of that, and then and it's not like as they move closer, they'll jump into the more lit areas that you can see, and then you'll have a better chance of shooting them.
Yes. Now, having the 4-gun setup.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself relying on one set of guns way more than the other?
Yes, I did.
Okay, which ones?
The top and bottom guns are the ones I use the most. However, you will find yourself occasionally swapping back and forth, and when you do that, it can be, if you can get confused as to which guns you're using, and you're trying to swap back real quick. But I mean, I thought it was fairly seamless. I played this on the keyboard, and I liked it. I actually kind of liked the aspect, because if it was just one set of guns, it wouldn't be as unusual.
Well, the reason why you have to use both sets of guns, and I use both sets of guns.
Yeah, I mean, I used them both, but I used one more than the other.
When the alien is on the extreme left or extreme right part of the screen, since the turrets in the middle are between your tank tracks, they can't cover the last, say, 1/6 of the screen on either side.
Yeah.
And that's when you've got to use those side lasers if an alien's getting really close. I thought this was brilliant. The way you can die in this game is if an alien hits your craft, if you overheat your lasers, and you've got to be sparse with them.
You haven't even got into that part of it
yet.
Yeah,
it gets even more difficult as you go along, but you can't just lay on the button.
No.
You will overheat your lasers, and if you overheat a laser, you lose a guy. And as you're traveling, you can choose to stop or not stop to pick up things. And if you choose to not pick up the coolant, the engine coolant, you will just eventually overheat and explode.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on in this game, but it doesn't feel like a lot. It feels like just enough. And I really enjoyed that about this game. Graphically, the animation of going down the shaft, because you don't drive your tank. It is one long, straight path, and your tank just goes on its own. You only choose to stop it to get out. That's it. There's no movement left or right. There's no moving your tank. It's just one straight line. And that's okay, because that gives you your up, down, left, and right to control your turrets, and then your buttons to shoot them. I enjoyed that. I think as you go on, different levels of the game will slightly change the aesthetics. It actually changes the color of your HUD, which will slightly change the colors of the mine shaft, which I think is just enough to let you know you've made it off of a level.
Oh yeah.
And still not break the flow of the game. There are several monster types that have different looks, including one that has his initials in it, like I said before. And they give different point values. You can see ones that are green or purple easier than you can see the all black ones, because they're kind of hidden by the shadow of the extent of the tunnel. I really enjoyed this game, and it has speech.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I have a funny story about the speech, Aaron.
All right.
At John Phillips, so he's kind of the new guy doing this project, right? And he got assigned to Moon Mine, and he worked with his supervisor, Bob Henderson. And they knew it, they got together, they worked on it, and at the end of the thing, Jim Dramus, who also did Car Wars, Munchman, and Parsec, right?
Ooh, yeah.
He helped a little bit on it too. So at the end of the project, his supervisor, Bob Hydron, said, "Listen, we've got to do a voice for the cartridge for the voiceover for this game. We're going to use the same girl that did the voice for Parsec. We thought she was good. We're just going to throw her back in there." And
yeah, she was good too.
John Phillips was like, "But that's not what I want. I want this woman." They actually had a falling out over this.
Really?
So much so that, and first off, the Parsec lady did eventually do the voice, but they had such a falling out that John Phillips says it ruined his relationship with his supervisor.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, kind of crazy. What an odd thing to fight over,
He's
right?
sticking to his guns, so it's his game.
Yeah.
He wants to,
So,
he didn't get what he wanted.
He did not get what he wanted. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting little tidbit to go along with it all.
Yeah.
The voices in this game, great. I think they come across incredibly clear.
Yeah.
They are not so continuous that you get sick of them. It mostly just announces if there's something coming up in the in the mine shaft you need to be aware of.
It sort of parrots the heads-up display.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And there's no the female voice never makes fun of you. Now there is a overall protagonist in this game called the Zygnot.
Yeah.
And if you make it deep enough, he will actually, when you die, he will come out and taunt you.
I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw that guy.
And
I was wondering about that.
You can never reach him. He is an unattainable goal. So he just comes.
He came out right after I died, and I thought, man, I must have just missed him. So you can never get to him.
No, he is.
Oh, that's brutal.
As confirmed by John Phillips 7 years ago, you can never actually get to him. He is just there to taunt the player. But his voice is also very well done in the game. You can earn extra crewmen, which is kind of weird because
Not
they
really.
actually. Well, I mean,
they could just be people that are working in the mine. You pick them up like miners.
Yeah, but you don't pick them up. You birth them at some during your score.
They come out from the side. That's why you didn't see it. I'm just saying, I don't have a problem with that. It makes sense. You get out in the mine, you pick some guys up, give them a ride.
So, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. My biggest harp on it is because it's a high score game. I think we can all agree to that, right?
Yeah.
I think my biggest harp on this game is it takes too long to get difficult.
Yeah, and as far as I could tell, was there a difficulty setting in this?
Well, I'm about ready to blow your mind.
Okay, go ahead, blow it.
John Phillips has this thing. He puts cheat menus in all of his games.
Okay.
This one included.
Oh, okay.
At the opening screen, before you press any keys, the title screen, if you press star, $, you will open up a cheat menu that will allow you to start on any level you want, 1 through 60, and with as many men as you want, 1 through 9.
Oh, wow.
And if you do that, play the game normally the first few times, and then when you feel comfortable, you want to start at, say, level 5. That will give you enough chance to ramp up and it still be comfortable. But levels 1 through 4 are pretty slow.
Yeah.
They're pretty slow. But with that cheat code, being able to skip farther into the game, I skipped to the last level. It's a pounding. It's an absolute pounding. Eventually, you have more enemies on the screen. You can have 2 at a time. And the enemies can take more than 1 shot, up to 3 shots.
Oh, wow.
So the game gets incredibly hard the farther you go into it. Aaron, do you have any final thoughts before we head to the Discord review?
Well, I haven't got to say anything about it
Moon
yet,
Mine?
so I'm going to jump in.
Ooh.
I loved Moon Mine.
Yes.
This was a winner. It's a big, huge winner.
Yes.
Like, this is top shelf. Loved it. It's old school fun. And the guy that made it, I'm stunned this was his first game. I'm baffled at that.
Yep.
And he did some things that I love, right? Number 1, he's got a cool theme, right? You're trying to clear this mine. 2, he could have just had this game have crosshairs or have having the double guns, that made it better because that's different. 3, having the water cooled at a temperature, that's great.
Yeah.
That's another thing I really love. It really adds to the game. The fact that the game has levels, it changes colors. I love all that stuff. The voice is cool. But the big thing he did was your ability to hop out of the tank to pick stuff up.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to add that in, but he did. And that is great.
Yes.
Because that adds an aspect to the game. It also breaks it up.
Yes.
You're crawling along in this huge underground tank, but occasionally you're got to get out, and he's got a pistol, and all of a sudden now the guy's exposed to these aliens. When you're in the tank, you don't think much about it. I love that aspect of it.
Absolutely.
I like the fact that it used the voice. I thought the voice, like I said, listen, it adds to the game. It doesn't have to be the star of the game.
Yeah.
It just, as long as it adds to it. And both the games I think we did, it added to the game. And in this one especially, I like the fact that he put in like this unobtainable alien. I wish you could get to him.
Yeah.
But it did. It did. I will say, I was just like anyone playing this for the first time. I saw that guy. I'm like, what is this? What is this? I've got to get to that guy. You know, I enjoyed it so much. In a rare occasion, I screen captured my high score. I was proud of that.
I saw
Like,
that.
man, I actually did a good job in this game. It was instantly playable. There was no learning curve. I mean, it's not. You're not going to be instantly mastering it, and the fact that the temperature thing keeps you from just spamming shots. It's actually quite a brilliant game.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it a lot. And so I give this thing, you've done it again. I'm going to give you credit. You found another winner, the Brent, in this one.
And it being a TI-99 exclusive, that kind of makes it cool.
And it also has a good look to it.
It does.
You know, the scrolling on the mine shaft is good.
It's smooth as silk.
I mean, they didn't reinvent the wheel here.
No.
It's just like, but I mean, it works for this game. Now, I mean, I can envision a sequel to this where you have to like go down mine shafts or turn corners or speed up or slow down. You know, there's a lot of stuff. Think about things you can do with that concept like this, and you can even keep everything else pretty much intact. Someone should consider in the future. We did get a review on this one from our good buddy Pajako. Pajako writes, Moon Mine, a simple but fun game that could have been an early arcade game.
Absolutely.
Weirdly, even though the aiming system is really just an alternative crosshair method, I still struggle to get my head around it, and often resulted to just using the top and bottom guns. I think the developers could have made the game more interesting if the horizontal and vertical guns fired alternatively. Getting out of the ship to collect bonus treasure in water is a great addition to the game, and being able to use the crew member to shoot aliens makes it even better.
Yeah.
And the overheating gun mechanism means the auto-fire freaks have to do this old school. My only complaint with Moon Mine is the space-colored aliens that are impossible to see most of the time, so more luck than skill comes into play, especially on the later levels, as those pesky aliens are pinging all over the shop. For a game of its time, I really liked it, and with the addition of the speech pack, I'm really taken back to the arcades. 8 out of 10. I want to say, I didn't mention this, if you're a fan of a game like a Gyrus or a Tempest, where these things kind of come out of the void and come up and with scaling, this has that.
Yeah. And
you do get that feeling. Now, of course, they're not coming up out of the void in this case. They're just far off in the distance. But there is a scaling involved. Again, I'm stunned that this is the guy's first game that he pulled that off. It's a shame he didn't make a lot more stuff. But, I mean, I love the idea that a guy could have a girlfriend that knows a guy that can get him into making a game for TI.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
those days are over.
He was already in TI's workforce,
right,
and he had worked on things before, just not games. So he was an accomplished software engineer before he went to do his first game. But this is his first venture into commercial gaming.
An outstanding game. I've got to say, I really enjoyed it. I also thought the box art's cool. Some of these old TI's games had some really cool box art. It's like photorealistic, sort of. Real cool. I like that. They had just an all-around top-shelf piece of work there, the Brent. You did good on that one, my friend.
Absolutely.
So, well, I wanted to play something I just never played before. You ever have one of those games where you just never get around to it?
Yeah.
You know, and there's one game that I've always looked at. I'm like, man, this looks crazy good. I never tried it. And so I thought, well, heck, this is the week, because I thought the TI had the best-looking version of that. And so the game I looked at was Microsurgeon. Now, Microsurgeon, published and developed by Imagic. We love Imagic.
Yes.
My God. They've done a ton of stuff that I like, including Cosmic Arc, Atlantis. They've done lots of great stuff over the years.
Absolutely.
And this was one of their babies. This was designed by Richard S. Levine and programmed by him as well. It's funny, some web pages had no programmer listed for this, but everything I read, he did the program on this as well. Levine has done some interesting stuff over the years, including motocross, kids on site, trucking, PBA bowling. He also, I didn't know this, he did the scripting tool that they use for, it came from the Desert 1 and 2.
Huh.
So that's a feather in the old cap. He, of course, programmed and designed. Now this, I've got 2 different dates for the release on this for the TI. I read March of 1984, and then another website said third quarter of 83. So I found some evidence to make me believe that maybe it was 83. This also came out for the Intellivision, which is the place I saw it most frequently.
Yes. Yeah.
And this was a surprise, and I couldn't find any footage of this or any people talking about it, but apparently there was a PC booter edition of this, which I would love to see what that
really?
looked like.
No, I hadn't heard of that. I hadn't heard of that.
I also found 2 different prices. This on the same webpage. Originally, this either sold for $29.95 or $39.95.
I would assume it was $39.95 because that's what my game sold for.
Okay, well, there you go.
That seemed to have been the standard TI pricing back in the day.
Just for your consideration, I did look some stuff up on Rick Levine. He is best known for Microsurgeon, but he actually has done some other stuff. For RCA Labs, he was the lead programmer of a item called, I'm going to try to not butcher this, Planique, one of the earliest interactive motion video games for CD-ROM. And while at Digital Pictures, he programmed the Windows 95 version of Double Switch, one of the first DirectX games. This guy was at the cutting edge.
Yeah.
He also worked for Microsoft as a senior software engineer in the Windows and Games division. So he's got some pretty good
history there.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good stuff there. So let's get into what in the heck is this crazy game, Microsoft? Because it is a wacky game. Yes. This one. So in this game, you literally are what they say on the tin, that you are the microsurgeon. Basically, what you're doing here is going into a body and going in and trying to cure various ailments. That's the premise of the game. You're in a microscopic robot probe, right? So as you look at this game on the screen is divided into basically 4 quadrants. In the upper left, you've got basically like a picture of the human body blown up. So you can see where your probe is. You can see the various body parts zoomed in, and you can see the ailments and
inside
inside the body,
yeah.
Right. To the right, you've got a number that's the energy that's left in your probe, and below that, you've got like a blow up, a real blow up of your ship that it literally in stuff like veins and arteries. It's real blown up.
Yeah.
The bottom left will show you the status of your patient, everything from lungs, hearts, all the way down, all of his vital signs, and there'll be arrows that pop out of these. And when the arrows go higher and higher, that means that particular area or organ is in jeopardy. When that organ or area is preparing to fail, the particular body part will be highlighted in orange, which means you got real problems there, son. And then as I think a cute touch, in the lower right, you literally see your patient that you're working on in the bed.
Yeah.
He's in a hospital bed, and what's neat is occasionally you'll see a nurse come in and talk to him, or a doctor, and occasionally even have a visitor will come in.
Which I don't think visitors are allowed in the ICU.
Well,
but
I wouldn't let a visitor in when I was doing this, especially giving me. You've also got an EKG meter in there that like you can turn on or off. You've got a couple of different things. You can sound effects. You can sort of turn on and off.
Yeah.
Like a heartbeat or an EKG. The beeping of the machine is to tell you how good or bad the guy's doing. Usually bad. So when this game was envisioned, this was effectively this was going to be a fun educational title. I mean, I think that's what it is. I mean, if you look at the manual for this, it actually goes in depth with the various. It talks about all the different ailments that are represented in the game. Everything from like clots to like cancers. I mean, you're seeing all sorts of horrible stuff and viruses and whatnot. And there's even a glossary in the manual. I read the whole manual. I mean, they don't mess around here. I mean, you're doing stuff like blowing away cholesterol, gallstones, kidney stones. Guess what? Some guys have tapeworms. That's gotta suck. I don't mean a tapeworm.
No, like 50 of them.
I mean, tons of them. Also, you got a patient that's a big smoker. You got to go there and take care of these tar deposits or brain tumors.
Yeah.
Right? You've got all sorts of different stuff here to deal with. And so the manual goes through and actually tells you like what these ailments are, the glossary of what the different things do, the treatments. Your ship is stocked with 3 different sorts of medication. You've got ultrasonic rays, antibiotics, and aspirin, and they're used to treat different things in the game. For example, aspirin will take care of viruses. Now,
somewhat misleading.
Well, it slows them down. So you've got a lot to think about when you play this game. For one thing, you're guiding your ship through this body. As you look, the way this will work is the first thing that happens is the game comes up. It asks you for a difficulty level on the game. There are 3 difficulty levels. There's student, intern, and surgeon. I never left student. I can tell you that now.
No, yeah.
But there is intern and surgeon. And then once you pick that, you get to pick a patient. Patients are numbered 0 to 999, right? I believe the 0 patient can't be killed. I think he's just basically like, it's like working on a Recessa Annie that's got guts. And then, so you've got effectively 1,000 different patients, and each one will have different ailments.
Yeah.
Some will have bad lungs, some will have brain tumors, some will have gallstones or whatever you got to take care of. And so you basically when you start the thing, it'll give you a sort of an idea of of what you're doing, and then you're guided by the statistics that you're looking at. For example, if I see that my lungs are shooting up on my chart, then you can say, okay, there's something in the lungs. Let me go in here. Well, there may be a bunch of tar in there. You take your ship in, and you use the appropriate medicine to treat whatever's in there. Now, this game has a couple different ways you can control it. You can use the keyboard, which is what I did. You can also use 2 joysticks.
Yeah.
When I heard this, I thought, man, this is going to be great. It wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be, but it still makes sense. One joystick just controls your craft, and one joystick will basically pick the medicine.
Yeah.
Like that. So
yeah, it's not a twin stick shooter.
No, it's not. It's not. But I will say,
but it could have been.
Well, I mean, I suppose when you go into the body, you've got to, aside from the fact you got to monitor your patient, you've also got to contend with the amount of energy that in your ship, and you can gain energy back from like that. I think it's taking out viruses.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of energy back, but you've only got so much energy to get through this guy. And so as you work your way through the body, I think there's like 8 or 9 different areas of the body. Everything from the torso up is represented.
Yes.
The legs, no one cares. All the good stuff's up top.
Yeah.
And so not only do you have to go through and clean all this stuff up, but once you've got all the statuses back in the norm, you've got to get out of the body before you run out of juice. Now you travel to the body. You can travel to the body however you want. You can just ram your thing right through stuff, but it's super slow. But if you get in like veins and arteries and stuff, then you move a lot quicker. They're sort of the highways of the body as you go through. And you can also, when you're done, or you're out of energy, you can basically leave the body, and that's when it basically ends the game. Now you can literally burrow out his forehead if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. But what you can do is you can go out through one of nature's natural body holes. You know, the nose, the eye, the mouth. Those are the ones. I'm just saying those are the ones in the manual.
I prefer you not go up my eye.
Well, listen, you can go out the eye. When you watch this game, it's actually quite eerie because the close-ups they did a great job of cross-sectioning this guy. And when you're up near the eye, you can see his pupils getting big and stuff depending on how he's feeling. The viruses and whatnot have basically icons that appear in that body area, and you've got to go through and use the appropriate medicine, clear them out. The ship moves, like I said, depending on where you're at, it's going to depend on how quick it moves. But it moves. I didn't have any trouble moving the ship per se. I thought it moved okay. I will say the hit detection is a little wonky sometimes because there's a lot going on here. So and it's not precise. I can justify it to myself. Like, you're in a body, you don't know. There's a lot of crud, and it's not like it's hollow. So if you're not shooting the right thing, maybe it's because that there was some fluid or something got in the way. But this is a real unique game. I don't think we've played anything like this. I mean, I suppose Microcosm, but I mean, this is way better than that.
Yeah.
And I think you can actually learn a thing or two. I'm not saying you're going to play this game and suddenly you can go do surgery. But it's a neat way to learn the organs. You can sit there and play this with a kid, and you could explain stuff to them. So I like it. I like the manual goes a long way in making this sort of something that you can use as a teaching tool to a certain degree. That's what it was made for. I mean, sorta. But at its heart, it's just a body shooter, basically. Well, I can see by the look in your face. You didn't like this one?
I didn't like this one.
I can't believe it. I thought this was really good.
No, it is really good.
Oh, why didn't you like it?
I thought there was... Here's the problems I had with it. First of all, it drops you into... You pick your patient and it drops you in no prep. There's no... Like, okay, this guy has a problem with his lungs. You just get dropped into the body. And you can look at the arrows and kind of see that he's got problems here or there. But not having any kind of opening paperwork, it just... The experience felt cheap because of that. And the sections of the body when you're flying around, yeah, they're impressive. You can kind of tell you're in a lung, or you can kind of tell you're in the heart, and it kind of feels like you're in the body because there's, veins and arteries running everywhere. And I get what they're doing, but it also just looks like a big pile of puke on the screen.
It doesn't look like puke.
It looks like puke. And it's, if you know where you're at, you can say, no, like, see, here's like the outline of the stomach and, you know, the veins around. And I get that. So I'm not faulting the game for it. It is what it is. But if you just saw this in a screenshot, you would just look at it and say, why is there a big pile of puke on the screen? Because no, Aaron, outside of the eye, right, where you can see that it's the profile of the guy's face. Outside of that screen, it just looks like colors. It just looks like stuff. And there are so many. I mean, these are the absolute sickest people on the entire planet.
It's a hospital.
No. I mean, when you go in and you work on someone's lung, it's not like, okay, let's find the tumor and get it out of there. It is a tumor. The entire lung is absolutely ravaged. And it takes forever to clean up a body part. Because you have to worry about blockages. You have to worry about respawning viruses. You've got to worry about tumor growth. And the tumors grow at just ridiculous speed and spread. You've got white blood cells that just randomly fly from the left to the right or the up and the down. And if they hit your ship, they zap your energy. So you always have to be dodging them.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's so much going on. And the struggle to reclaim a body part and get it down to normal levels is daunting. And it seems, and if you just happen to wander into another part of the body, right, where stuff is bad, it's not just like you walk into it and it's bad. You walk into it and it insta spreads. You watch it spread out. And it's so disheartening that you got to clean all that up. I didn't have fun with the game. I always felt like I was fighting a losing battle. I felt ill-prepared going into the game. And you've got your 3 ammo types.
Yeah.
The ultrasonic basically does everything, except it basically does everything except you have to use aspirin on the viruses and I can't remember what the other one was. Something for blockages, and then everything else is
antibiotic.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. I just, at the end of the day, I didn't have fun, and I sure as heck didn't learn anything.
You know, I think part of the problem here is that you have so much contempt for your fellow man that as a surgeon, you're not going to bother wasting your time with these guys. I think that's part of the problem. I think you're missing the humanity aspect. You're saving a life here, which I think is a neat part of it. But there's also a part maybe you didn't understand. And I didn't mention this when I was talking about the game, but it is sort of part of it.
All right.
As you go through this game, you're actually earning research money, which is great. And so the better job you do, the more cash you'll earn, which is an added. Come on, I love that aspect of it because you're a surgeon. You got to get paid, yo. And I was thinking to myself, these 1,000 patients that have enough money to hire the microsurgeon, they got to pony up. That's why they're so sick. They're desperate. They're not going to come here if they got a hangnail. They get tumors and crap growing exponentially.
Yeah.
They need you to come in there and take care of business.
Now, here's something I have to stress. If you've never played Microsurgeon, you should at least go and experience it. Because it is especially for back in 84, mind-blowing on creativity.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. And that's something that these people, the developers and producers over there, they were always pushing. They always pushed to go a little bit farther than gaming had ever gone before. And I give them major thumbs up for that. Right? Because no one else was doing this.
No.
But from a fun perspective, I did not have it.
I found it very enjoyable to go in there and clean one of these suckers up, and they're on the brink of death, and then you actually get out of there. I thought that was fun. It's a race against time sometimes when you see those names turning orange.
No, if they turned orange and you're not already in the organ, they're dead.
You got to be in there. Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong there. But still, I found this game. I thought it was really interesting. To be honest with you, I thought it was a lot of fun. I did manage to find a review of this game, believe it or not.
All right.
And I'll just go into this because it was a pretty thorough review. This is from the Home Computer Compendium, Volume 1, Number 1, February of 1984. A fellow named John Colin, ironically, rated this. He gave it straight A's. Performance, ease of use, documentation, value, and final grade. A's across the board. But this quote I found particularly amusing and sad. He wrote, TI has always had a reputation for producing mediocre game software for its home computer. Finally, the company started coming out with the good stuff, and now it's out of business. Too bad. This is good stuff. That's what he said. I thought that was particularly sad when I read that. We also got a review from the Pajockster on this one as well.
Please don't call him the Pajockster.
The Pajockster. He writes, battle to save what has to be the sickest patient in the world.
Yeah.
A really innovative game that I found to be a little complicated. Switching treatments was a little fiddly. In today's world, these would have been mapped to one of your controller's infinite buttons. That's true. That would have helped.
Yeah.
This is a good one you can remap. If I'm honest, the probe moved a little too slowly, which was too much of an issue for one screen, but moving from location to location took an age. Again, you have to know how to get there. And I found constantly having to monitor all the different parts of the body and then move there a bit overwhelming. I'm really coming to love that speech pack. It really adds another dimension of these games. I find it quite fun. It's a little clunky and takes some getting used to, but it's worth checking out. A game that feels like a mix of Tempest and Fantastic Voyage. I don't know where you got Tempest. The movie Microsurgeon is the one that takes getting used to, but ultimately could work well on modern systems. 7 out of 10. I didn't mention the speech pack. I'm glad Pajockster brought that up. The funny thing, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, this thing will occasionally call out like intercom for doctors.
Yeah, like paging doctors.
And one of the doctors that pages is Dr. Levine, which is actually the guy who made the game. So he made himself a doctor in his own game. That's how you do it, I think.
Yeah, the speech pack on this, for those who have not heard it, well, it does random calls like as if you were in a hospital.
Yeah.
It does when you enter a new body part, it'll say like now entering the heart. Entering heart.
It'll give you some status updates on occasion.
Yeah, it's definitely neat.
Yeah.
Not required.
It works well for much like your game.
Yeah.
It's a nice added fun thing. You don't have to have it, but when you do have it, you're like, man, I'm glad I got that.
Yeah, and it sounds good.
Yeah.
The quality on it is real good.
Yeah. I did look this up on eBay just for fun. Again, I could not find the PC booter for sale, but I looked up the cart. So you can get this thing for a song on the TI. $25 for the cart and manual. I saw the cart going for loose for $8. I saw somebody sell one of these for $15. I'd say the TI is a pretty collectible machine.
That is super cheap.
Makes me want to. Almost makes me want to think about getting. I've had the opportunity to get a TI in the past. I didn't do it. And now I'm kind of like thinking to myself, maybe I should have got one of these.
Now, Aaron, normally I'm like, don't be an idiot. Don't go out there. No, yeah. I wholeheartedly support your purchase of a TI-99.
That might be a good Christmas gift to Brent from you to me.
No, I'm not buying that for you.
Now, hold on, I'm not quite
I just want to mention that
jump in.
Moon Mine could be found for about $18 to $20. On eBay.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I should finish my thought before you rudely interrupted. The Intellivision version of this is just about the same price. Keep in mind the Intellivision version will have the overlays.
Yeah, Viva La Raza.
$20, $23, and $15 respectively for the Intellivision versions I saw on eBay. Not a bad price indeed.
And for what it's worth, the Intellivision also has dual stick controls.
Yeah.
which has to be the most clumsy idea ever. Dueling those circle pads while also needing to press the buttons to change different medicine types.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. And then television has a different layout as well.
Slightly.
But it looks good, too. That's the one. It came out a year before. You got to give Magic credit. Those guys are really thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan of their boxes, by the way. Speaking of
Shinies.
box, I'm a big fan
Super
of them
shiny.
overall. You know, listen, the TI-99 4A, have we put it over enough? I mean, I was really impressed with this machine. I had fun with the first show we did, and hopefully it won't be so long before we come back down this path. Now, go ahead, Brent.
Well, you know, I was wondering, Aaron.
Yeah.
We've looked at doing surgery on the body.
Yeah.
What happens if I need to do surgery on my C64?
Boy, well, listen. There's only one microsurgeon I would trust with my trusty bread box or my Amiga or even my Coco, and it's our good buddy Frank. Frank at RetroRewind.ca.
Absolutely.
You're too far away from your sign.
Well, I'm sitting here looking. Oh, there it is.
So let's talk about RetroRewind.ca. This is our local establishment right here in North America for all you interested parties. If you've got a Commodore product or a TRS-80 color computer and you're looking to accoutrify this thing, let's say you need to upgrade, you want to upgrade your Kickstart ROM, for example. Let's say you need diagnostic chips and diagnostic tools for this machine. There's just one place you got to go, brother, and that's up to Canada to Frank at RetroRewind.ca. Frank also will sell you quality repair parts for your machine. Let's say you want to recap that sucker. Frank's got top shelf parts. They're bagged up. They're ready to ship to you right now. And if you've got a problem that even the microsurgeon can't fix, then you send it up to Frank. He's a super surgeon. He goes in there and does part replacements and repairs on all of your classic machines.
He scopes it right out.
That's correct. Please check Frank out at RetroRewind.ca. He's got decades of experience, and he's got all the equipment, just like the microsurgeon. He's got all the equipment to go in there and take care of the patient being your various computers.
Now, Aaron, to the wheel,
yes, sir.
We have added Amiga ham mode for the new piece.
I don't know what games use that. Good Lord.
And for the Retro Rewind, the PlayStation.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's see what you got there. Last week was a chat choice, and well done. Let's see what we get this time.
All right, we've got C64 cartridge games.
C64
by
cartridge games.
Christian Giskoff.
I think this is our second time around on the old cartridge games. Thank you, Christian Giskoff, for your excellent choice. Now, let's talk about when we'll get to that, because that will be what we do in 2 weeks. Why is that, Brent? Tell
Because next week, not on Sunday, but on Friday, we will be doing the Thanks for Giving Marathon. Well, we will be starting 10 a.m. EST and playing games from different gaming genres all day long for your entertainment. This is not a marathon where we ask for money. We're not out here asking for donations. Now, if you want to give money or give donations, that's up to you. We can't physically stop you unless you walk into the room. But it's not about that. It's just about having a platform to be entertained for a little while as we say thank you for all the giving that you've done for us, done for the charities throughout the years.
It's almost just like point at the monkeys and laugh.
That's it.
It's also you can do that. Hey, I want to also say we're going to have a little bit of a giveaway here. I've been donated a Steam code for a Cinemaware bundle.
Oh.
We'll be giving that away thanks to our good buddy Dave 7G. I told Dave I was going to put him over strong, and I'll tell you, I am. He knows all about the pro wrestling. And I told him, I'm going to put you over, Dave. And he goes, putting me over is best for business, brother. I love that. Well done, Dave. So Dave has donated a Cinemaware bundle. I've got the Cinemaware bundle, and it's great.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that'll be fun to give away. We'll figure out something to give that away. We should have a good time. And the thing is, and this is what everyone wants, I think, you can watch hours and hours of me and the Brent, and then we're gonna ease right into Amigos that night, and then once we get through Amigos, we're gonna do an Ask the Amigos with it's a 3-way dance. Brent will be involved. We'll be in here taking all your questions. Should be a lot of fun. That's Thanks for Giving. Just to give you the exact times on that, that will be Friday the 25th. And you said you wanted to start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I thought that's what we said.
9,
hey, what do I know, right?
Listen, before we go, I didn't mention this last week. This man right here had a big special birthday. This old bum here. He hit the big 5-0, ladies and gentlemen. Finally. It took a long time to get there. And I want to celebrate that by giving him this here gift. Here it is, and I'm going to present it on the show. Here you go. It's a retro gift.
I can't open this for 5 years.
No, you can open it right now.
No, you said it's my 50th gift.
How old are you?
Far less than 50, old man.
Close enough. Open the gift. Show everybody what you got. I hope you don't have this already, by the way. Should get the little one out first. Everyone likes birthday goodies. Not that.
Wow. Thanks, Aaron.
Idiot.
It's a piece of blank paper.
I wrote down how much I love you on there. Get that out of here. Keep going. How long does this take?
You got me. Oh, awesome. Dice.
Those are lab created D&D dice.
Those look good, too.
Look how beautiful they are. Yeah, no, here, give me that.
No, they're
I
mine.
want to show the people. You're blowing it. Look at that. Those are top quality dice, ladies and gentlemen. You can't see the colors on
And oh, Legend of Zelda Game & Watch.
It choked him up. It was so awesome.
That's pretty good, Aaron.
Did you have that one yet? I probably should have taken the price tag off in retrospect.
No, I'll be sure to cover that up for the folks that. Oh, I missed the price cover up. Whoops.
Hey, listen, those are. I was told they're becoming harder and harder to find, but I don't know. I don't like Zelda, but I know he likes it. So there you go.
That's awesome.
So there you go. Happy birthday, jerk.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you Friday for Thanks for Giving, and until next time, please, once a week, consult your local microsurgeon. Adios, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed the show. A special thank you to Duncan Styles for our vector style graphics and BartBit for our amazing music. Would you like to help keep ARG spinning? You can do so at patreon.com/ARG Presents. Just like these fine folks. Drarlent 17, Laron Garut, Templar Mar, Z9K9, Jerry Dennington, John Dykeman, Retroology, Air Shack, Texas Foosballer, Sundown, O-Wrong, Super Tech Boy, David Terrence, Mr. B, Roushi, Graham W. Fetke, Dave Velociraptor, Bernhardt Lucas, Steve Rasmussen, Anthony Jarvis, Bitterblitter, Pajako 6502, Kevin Bean, Andy Jones, Andy Craig, Rob Black O'Hara, Jason Warnes, Mitsuyama, Chris Foles, Frodo NL, The Slow,
Richard Smith,
Norris, Terry Howard, Olaf Hope, and Rolo. They all have access to our Discord channel, their name called out in the credits, and visualized in the ending scene. Have an idea for a wheel piece? You can send it to us at argpresents@mail.com.